Hey y'all, it's Brijin, the Museum Stitcher here on Flosstube, but also over on Instagram, Ravelry, and Goodreads. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. This is my little corner of the internet where I talk about my crafting life, mostly about cross stitch. Today I've got cross stitch, a lot of it, and books. So if you're interested in stitching, reading, crafting, all of those kinds of things, I hope you stick around and see something you like. Leave me a comment, say hi. And if you're returning, welcome back. The last time that I filmed was earlier this month, the beginning of December, I think, or maybe end of November. But it's been about 3 weeks since I last filmed. Today is December 16th of 2023, and it's Flosstube number 34. So we're gonna be talking a lot of Christmas today, but also some other things. So if Christmas isn't fully your jam, don't worry, I got you covered. Because I've been in a crazy stitching mood. I have been stitching like a mad woman for the last few weeks, and a couple of stitching events have happened, like the Jingle Ball, and so I can't wait to tell you about what I've been up to. Today has been an awesome day so far. My mom and I went and had a girls' day at Trader Joe's and just walked around and got inspired and bought a lot of snacks and things. So it's been a really good day so far. I'm glad to spend a little bit of time with you and tell you about what I've been up to. So there's a lot to cover today, so we're gonna hop right in. But remember at the end to like, comment, subscribe, say hi, all of those kinds of things. I can't wait to hear about what you guys have been up to leading up to the holiday season. So let's enjoy the new background of the Christmas tree while we can, and let's hop right in. So today I have two previous finished features to share. These are projects that I don't think I've shared on my channel. Maybe I have, but these were from my first year of stitching, two Christmas pieces that have been in the attic, and so they're finally down and I can share them with you guys. But the first one is my second cross stitch that I ever started. I started this back in 2021 in June, and it is "And to All a Good Night" by Stitching with the Housewives. So for those of you who don't know, when I started cross stitching, I originally was a quilter and I watched a lot of free tutorials from the Fat Quarter Shop. And when Kimberly, the Fat Quarter Shop, started cross stitching, I started watching those videos and I was like, oh, that looks like a great portable craft. And she was just starting this at the time. So I hopped in and stitched it along with her. And so this is only my second ever cross stitch start, my first ever cross stitch finish. And I can't believe I'm sharing it with you guys, but it is, I stitched it in about a month, so June 20th to July 13th of 2021 on 14 count black Aida with the called for DMC. I'll get you a little closer. So ignore my stitches, they are not perfect. 2/2, of course. I hope that was in frame, but he's so cute. I had pretty much forgotten I did this, but the FFO is not 100% great. This was my first ever FFO that I did. So I used sticky board and fabric. The only thing I think is I don't love using hot glue anymore for my finishes. I tend to like to lace. So there's like glue crumbs and the corners aren't super, super sharp. And I didn't stretch the fabric as much as I should have, but not too bad for a first ever finish. I need to like put some picks or something at the top just to give it a little bit more volume, maybe a bow, but that's the part I'm bad at, so I don't tend to do that. But I finished it exactly how Kimberly finished hers, and yeah, that was my very first ever cross stitch finish, was a Christmas piece. So that sits on this fireplace up here, but I pulled it off to show you guys. Also, I don't think I showed you guys, but I have my little Grinch earrings on, so we're fully in the Christmas spirit over here. To me, pink is also Christmas, as you can tell by the pink floral Christmas tree. But here's my second ever Christmas piece I did. This I also finished in 2021. This is Santa's Coming by Stitchrovia. And I stitched this from December 4th to December 18th of 2021, pretty much monogamously, on a leftover piece of 14 count Icelandic Grey Aida. I did start off using a lot of 14 count Aida, like I think most people do, just with the called for DMC. The amazing thing about Stitchrovia, she's also Emma Congdon, if you've heard of her cross stitch books. She uses color in the most insane way. Now I need you to ignore this frame. because I didn't finish this super great. And I spray painted a black frame with gold spray paint, and it is chipping like crazy. So one of my things while this is out this year is to refinish the frame. I liked the gold because there's a lot of gold sparkles, like all of this stitching is with like a metallic thread. But I mean, look at just the amount of color changes in that village. It is insane. I love this so much. So I need to refinish the frame on this, probably sand it off, spray paint it, and maybe seal it would help. But yeah, definitely gonna do a little bit of fixing on the frame, but I love this piece. It's such a fun Christmas piece. I'm really happy with it, and it is insane to see the changes in my stitching over time. This is my first time ever doing backstitch, first time doing French knots. Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. I think it turned out so well. Okay, so that's it for previous finishes. So let's get into things that I have finished and FFO'd, or fully finished, since I last chit-chatted with you guys. Okay, so let's talk things that I fully finished that I had already finished the stitching on before. You guys have seen this if you've been following any of my recent videos, but I recently finished the Tudor Rose Biscornu by Heartstring Samplery, and I fully finished it, or FFO'd. If you're not familiar with the term, it's where you take a cross stitch piece and you turn it into something. So you frame it, you make a pillow, all of those kinds of things. So the Jingle Ball, I took this class by Janine McGowan of the Blue Flower, and it was a Biscornu finishing class. And I chose to finish a Biscornu that I already had as a whip. And, but the class Biscornu was also really pretty. And this is it. So this Biscornu is like a French pin cushion or pillow where you take two squares and you put the corner of one square against the center of another, and it makes this really cute shape that you can use as a pin cushion or a paperweight or just something really pretty to sit on your shelf. So this was my little finish. I stitched this on a 36 count cream and sugar linen by Fiber on a whim with mostly the called for colors. Head over to my Instagram. I have a post with the color conversion that I did for this, a like somewhat stash pull. I wouldn't say this is the best finish I've ever done. I probably could have filled it a little bit more now that it's relaxed, but I stitched my initials on one side, and yeah, definitely not the best finish, like I said. So the class, the squares that you did, you finished the squares with a backstitch border, but in the pattern that I used, it was called for to be a full cross border, so I kind of had to fudge a little bit, and like there's definitely spots where it looks a little rough, but I don't think it turned out half bad for a first attempt. And I'm super happy to have this fully finished and done and sitting out. I just think it's so cute. Like, tell me that's not adorable. I stitched this from June 18th of 2022 to November 24th of 2023. But yeah, that is the Tudor Rose Biscornu. So much fun and such a cool finish. Like, it makes me feel really accomplished, even though essentially it's just like a different way of doing a pillow. It does take a little bit more brain effort, and the corners are not super fun, but highly recommend. Try out a Biscornu if you're someone who likes to pillow finish things or you don't have a sewing machine. This is definitely the finish for you. Okay, so another finish and then FFO that I did for the Jingle Ball. This was the second class that I took. This is the Liz Mathews Santa's Night, I think is what it was called, finishing class, but it was essentially a tree class. Liz does these amazing trees that you finish, and they are really cute, and it's just a different way of finishing things. But I had always seen Swan Tree by Hello from Liz Mathews, and I loved it, and I wanted that, so I decided to start and finish it essentially in the span of like 2 weeks, so that I could have a piece that I could leave up all year round and not just at Christmas time. And so I started this on November 11th and I finished it on December 2nd. Here's a picture of what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I believe it was at 30% finished. And I woke up on the day of the class, the finishing class, and I still had like 1,000 stitches left, and I stitched it like a crazy person. And I got it done before class so that I could finish it alongside Liz. Stop, isn't it so cute? So I stitched this with the called for DMC on a 36 count limited edition color and cotton linen. Oh my gosh, so freaking cute. I added 3,113 stitches to this project since you last saw it, and I fully finished it. This is the backing fabric, just some stuff I had in stash. This finish was insanely easy. The class is about like an hour and a half, and step by step I did it along with Liz, and I was done with this by the time the class ended. The spool and the stick were part of the kit that Liz sent. I did buy the kitted version of the class because I wanted this. And then I used some Spanish moss to finish the foam insert. So this finish is fully like trade outable. So you can see that's the inside. The only change that I made from the original class format was I added some interfacing to the back of my stitching just to kind of seal in those stitches and protect it from like friction against that foam insert. But I could not be more impressed with how this came out. It was so much fun, so easy. I will definitely be doing more tree finishes in the future. But yeah, super happy to have that done. And well done on teaching that class, Liz. It was a great class. Ah, so good. Pop that back up here and grabbed on my next one. So then after the Jingle Ball, I had so much fun chit-chatting. Thank you to everyone who said hi to me. I had so much fun chit-chatting with you guys. I actually got sick on the Sunday of the Jingle Ball, and I was not feeling well at all. So I had to skip out on any festivities and stitching rooms on Sunday. So if you were looking for me on Sunday, I'm so sorry I was not there. But Sunday evening, I was feeling a bit better, and I was chit-chatting with some of my girlfriends who I talked to at the Jingle Ball, which are Lauren, the New Hampshire Stitcher, Caitlin of Cross Stitch Kate, and Hannah of Microbiologist Makes, all here on Flosstube, all run amazing Flosstube channels, so go check them out. But Lauren, I think, was the one who instigated this, but Lauren mentioned that she wanted to do this little small by hands-on design called Berries in Bloom, and lo and behold, about 2 hours later, all four of us had it kitted and we're starting it. So I started this on December 3rd, and I fully finished it. I stitched this in 2 days. It's only about 1,400 stitches, but it has a lot of color changes. I did the call for DMC on a 36 count periwinkle linen by Color and Cotton that I had in stash. So this was entirely a stash buster project, and the pattern is free. So it was entirely free for me to do this out of my stash, which is great. I loved it. And this is what it looks like. So this is my first time ever finishing in a hoop. I have three, between this, and this, I have 3 brand new finishing techniques that I've learned in the last few days. So I did a hoop finish, and I followed a tutorial from Caterpillar Cross Stitch taught by Marie of Stitches and Diamonds on how to finish the back. I was really inspired by my friend Elizabeth, Frizzy Lizzy Stitches. She finished a small this way. So essentially you cut a circle around your linen and fold it in and glue it on the inside of the hoop. And then you make a round cardboard, add some batting to it, and stitch some fabric around that. And then you just pop this inside. And so it finishes the back really smooth, but you could pop out the fabric and trade it out if you wanted to. But this is just a little, I think 4-inch hoop. I love how that came out though. Such a fun small. Handmade by Sarah W. was actually hosting a sale for this, which I didn't know. So I hopped in on that sale as well. So a lot of people have been stitching this. Definitely go look it up. And yeah. So go check out Lauren and Hannah and Caitlin and see their finishes and their fabric choices. I believe all of them did somewhat of a stash color conversion. I just did the called for colors, called for DMC because I was sick and it was easy. But yeah, I will say this is small, but each one of these berry clusters has 8 different color changes. So I wanted to give you guys an updated review on a product that I used that really helped come in clutch when I was stitching this. And it is the Pip and Chip Needle Mates. I bought this a while back But essentially it's a magnetic tin that has a bunch of these little white magnets inside. And these magnets have stickers that come with them. So I bought the set that had the full range of DMC. So each sticker has the number and it's the color of that DMC. So essentially what you do is you pull out the stickers for the flosses you're using. I also have some blank ones that I can write on. If I'm doing fancy floss, I can write the symbol that's on the chart or the name of the floss. And you pop them in here and you preload your needle with that color floss. And so I was able to have my 8 pre-threaded needles sitting here that I could just reach for, do my one berry in that one color, and then put it back on this until it was time to stitch that color over here. It made the time go by so much faster. It's the only reason I was able to get this done so fast. So highly recommend these. The shipping from the UK is the biggest downside in this product. But if you were waiting for me to talk about how I loved these, I'm able to fit the labels on the inside while I'm not using it. But this is definitely the kind of stitching that this was made for. So perfect. I can't wait to use this again when I'm having a project that has a lot of quick color changes, because it's not really possible to like just stitch all of one color without like really triple checking your counting. So yeah, that is my updated review on that and my tiny little freebie finish from Hands On Design. Okay, so let's talk new starts. I've got a few new starts since I last talked to you. Obviously, Berries in Bloom was one of them, but that was a finish, so got that done. This is a piece that I started right after I filmed my last Flosstube on November 25th. I wanted to work on this over Thanksgiving, but I got distracted working on my Biscornu, so I didn't actually start this on Thanksgiving. But this is Giving Thanks by Little House Needleworks. I've had this kitted for forever. I love this chart. I kitted it with the Called For Classic Colorworks, and I'm doing it on a scrap of fabric that I found in my stash. But this is what it looks like so far. So essentially all I've gotten done is the words, and then I started on this branch up here. This is a scrap of 36 count ballet slippers by Fox and Rabbit. And this little piece only has about 1,900 stitches in it, so it's a little small that I could pull out and finish in a couple days if I wanted to, which is nice to have one of those in stash. I wanted to have it finished over Thanksgiving week, but again, I just got distracted with other things. But the words say, I'm thankful for my daily bread and also for my cross-stitch thread. And I'm stitching it 1/2. Here's what the flosses look like. They are really pretty fall colors. And I have done about 500 stitches exactly on this. I'm sitting at 26% finished, and I only worked on it for 1 day. So I put it down because I have other goals I'm trying to meet right now, but this will be a nice project to have next year when I'm trying to do low to no starts, just to pull out to get a quick little finish. It's in a small little bag. It's very portable, and it's a really easy stitch. So definitely loving that and cannot wait to work on it more in the future. Okay, second up, I started a project that I told you guys about in the plans of my last video. This is Sarah Moon 1791 by Stitchy Box Samplers. I am stitching this with my besties, Megan Babauta the Seattle Stitcher, Marjorie of Marjorie Made, and Cam the Stitcher. Cam and Marjorie are doing a conversion that Cam put together that is absolutely stunning. It is the most gorgeous, bright colors. Megan and I are stitching it with the Called For Inspired, but we're stitching it with the Vicky Clayton or HDF Silk conversion. There is a lot of floss in this project, a lot of floss, and I could not be more happy with these silks. Look at all of this amazing silk I'm gonna be able to put in my stash when this project is done. This is our full moon stitch. So we started it on the full moon of this month, which was November 27th. And unfortunately, I only worked for 1 day on this, but it's beautiful. It's so pretty. I mean, oh. Okay, so that's the floss ring. amazing. I have these on Adam Hart thread hearts. The Vicky Clayton labels fit right on them. These were a limited edition color launch from 2021 in like these autumn spice colors, but I had just enough of them for the silks in this project. Okay, so let me show you the fabric and what I've gotten done. This is where I'm sitting. It is the world's saddest start, I tell you what. It is pathetic. I've only done 283 stitches on this, and it is on a 40 count dirt track linen by Fox and Rabbit, which is possibly the coolest fabric I've ever held in my hands. It is insane. So I just have this little start on this one Quaker, but this silk is beautiful. It's gliding through so smooth, and I have just enough margin on this to have about 2 inches. So cannot wait to get more done on this. We'll be pulling it out on the full moon of every month, and we might work on it for like a couple more days after that. I know I'll need a little bit of dedicated progress on this in January, just to feel like I haven't done like the world's most pathetic start, but definitely go check out their channels to see what colors they're using. I think Megan's actually using the same fabric, so twins. And I am planning a conversion for where it says Ackworth School because I don't go to the Ackworth School. So I am planning a quote conversion, but I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. So that's sitting at about 1% finished. And I'm keeping this in this mesh bag from the Fat Quarter Shop. It's like a sunflower bag that they had a while back. And then I just have one more new start to share. This was a somewhat impulse start. And then I started looking at the math because I've been using Notion and I'm loving it. I'm loving the way I'm able to track my stitching and keep track of my crafting life without feeling like overwhelmed by it. It's so good. It does a lot of the work for me. And I have started 49 things this year so far with this. And why not hit 50? I had originally started off this year saying I was going to do 25 starts for my 25th birthday. And if I hit 50, it's just doubling it. So it's like the same goal, but different. And that's girl math. So I'm going to hit 50. Why not? So I'm going to do one more start. But this project was like, okay, why not? My friends Cam and Marjorie, who I just talked about, we're planning on starting the Modern Folk Embroidery 2024 sal, which is No Time Like the Present. I'll pop a picture of it right here. It's beautiful. I was originally going to start it with them, but I was having such an issue with my colors. And then I started thinking about it more, and I love that piece. I really think it's beautiful, and I'm not counting out that I won't stitch it one day in the future, but there has been a piece by Modern Folk Embroidery that I've wanted to stitch forever and I've had kitted forever. And I figured, you know what? I will start a Modern Folk Embroidery with them and I will stitch it with them through 2024 and try and get it finished by the end of 2024. But I'm gonna pick a different pattern because I love this pattern. This is Song of the Nightingale. I remember the day that this was released. I was on an airplane flying to Arizona to visit family, and I ended up sitting on the airplane like waiting to deplane for a while, and I was talking with Paper Crane Stitches on Instagram, and we were talking about how beautiful this piece was, and she was kitting it immediately, and I was like, I have to kit that, I have to stitch it, and then I forgot about it. And now it's been like over a year and a half, and I'm gonna start this. And you know what? There is exactly 24,000 stitches in this piece. So if I do 2,000 stitches every month through the year 2024, I will have it done. So love that. And I have a head start on next year for me. So I started this on December 6th of 2023 when my friends started their 2024 sals. But I'm doing a pink inspired conversion on this. And I've gotten 1,000 stitches done, so now January Brijin only has to stitch 1,000 stitches, which is great. This is what it looks like. So I'm stitching mine on a 36 count heirloom lace linen by Color and Cotton. A lot of Color and Cotton this video. Like I said, I am sitting at 1,061 stitches or 4.4% done, and I worked on this for about 3 days. One of those days was just for an hour though. And I have been able to mostly stitch it in hand, which is probably why I've gotten so far. But let me show you the colors I'm putting together. So this piece is originally called to be in 2 shades of blue and 1 gold. So I actually dug through my stash of DMC, and this is the ring that I put together. So the colors are 3687 for the light pink, 3685 for the dark pink, and 782 for the orangey gold. It's a little bit blendy with my sweater, but I love it. It's a little bit Princess Aurora, which is fine by me because she was always one of my favorite princesses growing up. But I love the way this is looking. This is a mock-up of what it's gonna look like when it's all done. And I have a homemade needle minder, which is Taylor Swift, on there right now. But I cannot wait to stitch this with my friends. So it's a little bit of a Modern Folk Embroidery 2024 style for myself, but not in the traditional sense of the same style everyone else will be doing. But I just needed to have this started. I needed to. Ah, it's so beautiful. So this is the full height of the piece, which is great, and it's just really long. So got this first little border done, and then we'll start working on this first third of the piece. And yeah, so this is going away until January, but I did get a pretty solid start that I'm pretty happy with. I'm gonna need a few more skeins of the DMC, but that's the great thing about doing a Modern Folk Embroidery with DMC. It's super easy. You don't have to worry about dye lots. Super great. And I keep this one in a Little Boat 88 project bag that is made out of this Beauty and the Beast inspired fabric. I should probably make an Aurora inspired one since my colors are pulling a little Aurora. Maybe that's just me though. Maybe they're not actually pulling Aurora, but what you gonna do? So that's my ginormous pink and orange, a little bit of a nod to Cam and Marjorie because they both love pink and orange. And yeah. Okay, so that is it for new starts. I did work on 3 existing whips in the last few weeks. Like I said, stitching fiend. Absolutely crazy. I don't know how I got all of this done. But let's start with what I got the least progress on, and we'll work to what I got the most progress on. So first off, during the Jingle Ball, on Saturday, I spent some time in stitching rooms, hanging out with people. And while I was in those stitching rooms, I had just finished my Swan tree. And so I decided to pull out one of my Christmas whips to work on just for that day. So I probably only got 2 hours worth of stitching done on this, but this is Woodland Wonder by Glendon Place. And I will pop in a picture of what it looked like the last time I showed it to you guys. Now this project, I was very certain I was going to have it done by the Christmas season this year, but it's one of those things where I got so close to being done that I forgot to finish it. So I don't know that it's going to get done by Christmas this year with my other stitchy goals that I need to work on, but I may try. But beading takes a while. So I gotten to the point where all I had left was beading, and this is what it's looking like now. Oh my God, it's so good. So I have this in a ginormous Q-snap. This is a 14-inch Q-snap so that I could reach the entire project because there's beads all up through here. But I had finished, the last time I talked to you, I had finished the beading on these 2 trees, and I just started working on the beading on this tree. And I got basically all of that done. And some of these white, all these white things are beads. And I got most of that done while I was at the Jingle Ball. But that's about it. Not a huge update on this one. I don't have statistics on this one because it's beading. But just got 1.5 trees and some border beading, and it will be finished. I am going to get this done in January, come hell or high water. Okay, next up, I got a little bit of progress on The Fox by Cottage Garden Samplings. I believe that the last time that you saw this project from me, I was in July, I think, but I didn't do a whole lot. I just did 1 evening's worth of stitching, about 250 stitches on this. Here's a picture of what it looked like the last time. But essentially my friend Elizabeth, the Frizzy Lizzy Stitches, had pulled this out. And I was like, you know what, if you're working on the fox, I'll work on the fox with you. Because I think I was just at the halfway point, maybe. But anyway, you guys have seen where it was. This is where it is. So I'm stitching mine on a 40 count Morning Mist linen by Forbidden Fiber Company with the called for threads, which is a combination of DMC and Fancy Floss. So essentially what I got done, I'm now sitting at 56%, so a little over halfway. I finished this white fill-in here, and I had about half of these diamonds in his little haunch done, so I finished those. So I just have to fill in with the lighter orange. And then I got this outline of the tail done. So all of the black stitching is now complete. I'm now color completed the black. And my needle minder is from Fangirl Fibers. It's an Oliver needle minder, but I don't think she makes it anymore, or I haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, this is a fun little small project. These cottage garden samplings projects are deceptive though, because they look so small, but they have a lot of stitching in them. So just a very small 1 evening's worth of camaraderie stitching with Elizabeth, and that's where I got to. But I had to put him away because I have other things to get done. Now I do think if I pulled him out for about a week and made him a focus project, I will have him done. He's a pretty fast finish. So yeah, we'll definitely see a finish of this guy soon. And I keep this one in a fox themed project bag that I got from Little Boat 88 as well. My favorite bag makers are all in Canada. It's Little Boat 88 and Jasmine Custom Bags. So most of the time my bags are Canadian, if you're wondering. Okay, and then I have 2 more left. Now these 2 projects are my focus pieces for the rest of the year. I have been monogamous on these 2 projects for the last week, and I've gotten a lot done, and I am really hoping to eke out finishes on both of them by the end of this year, or at least by the first week of January for this one. So this is another Little Boat 88 bag that's with Rifle Paper Company fabric that's metallic. It's beautiful. This is a Buzz at Midnight. This is a model stitch that I'm actually stitching for, I can't believe I get to call her my friend Liz Mathews, the incomparable cross-stitch designer. She is my favorite. I stitched that by her recently. I stitched another piece by her that I'll talk about. Anyway, it's very follow Liz Mathews around here. These are the called for NPI threads on Cosmic Pink Thread Hearts by Adam Hart Cross Stitch. But I am really hoping to get this model stitch done and sent back to Liz by the first week of January so that she can photograph it, which I can't wait to see. She's amazing at staging photographs of cross stitch. Anyway, I am working on this like a mad woman trying to get it done. Because the last time I worked on this, I only had about 900 stitches finished out of almost 9,000. And I really need to get my ass in gear. And I was working the fill-in on the center beehive. I think it's called a bee skep for the bee aficionados to not come after me. But it is a lot of fill-in, and so it was taking a while, and I just kind of stalled out. But now that I finished that, it's going so fast. So the last time you saw this, it was at 10% finished, only 910 stitches. And now I've done 2,500 and I'm sitting at 38. Tell me this is not freaking gorgeous. So this fabric, I can't tell you the name yet. It has not been released, but it is a 36 count fiber on a whim that you can be on the lookout for in the future. I'm sure Liz will tell you all about it. It is beautiful. I'm stitching this 2/2, which is a little out of my comfort zone, but I will say the coverage is looking great. I just wish I could get my stitches to lay a little bit nicer because Liz is going to see them and I want them to be perfect. But I finished, I was sitting at about here at the bee skep, so I finished all of that. And I did all of these bees and this top thing. This is the full side of the piece here. So I just need to finish this stem of flowers. Then I'm gonna work on these bees to kind of break up the flower stitching that go across the bottom here. And then I will finish it out by doing the other side of the flowers. But they've got some little back stitches in them. And I am zooming through this. I have worked on it for a few days, probably about 6 stitching sessions working on this. And I've been alternating working on this at night when I'm home with my good lighting because of the dark linen. And then working on the project I'm going to show you next during my lunch breaks at work. So between lunch break project in the day and a home project at night, I've really kind of enjoyed being more monogamous. I know technically 2 projects isn't monogamous, but for me it is. When I normally switch around like every 3 days or so, I am loving how this is looking. So this is the top of the piece, and the bottom of the piece is gonna end about here-ish. So it's a little one, it's a littler one. But this chart was previously released on her Patreon, and it will be available in March-ish, I think. It'll be one of her upcoming releases, so definitely keep your eye out for it. You cannot buy this chart yet, but I do have Liz's permission to share it with you, so don't like think I'm, you know, stealing her thunder with this design. I am just model stitching a previous release that's going to be released for everyone. So, which is honestly, it is the best way for me, a floss tuber, to do model stitching because I still get to talk to you guys about my progress. I don't have to keep it secret, and I love it. I love it so much. I know it's Christmas, but something about working on like the blue fabric, it's not like making me feel like I'm stitching out of season because I tend to be kind of seasonal around this time of year. I don't know, it's working for me to work on this right now. So 2,500 stitches is a lot of stitches to get done in about 5 days. I've essentially almost done 400 stitches every time I pull this out. And with doing, I think 350 stitches every time I touch it, I'm going to have it done on the last day of this month. So we will see, but I am on track, so that is nice. Okay, only one more project to go, and then I have a couple purchases and some plans and a couple books. So the last project, this has been my lunchtime stitching. This is the first day of Christmas, also by Hello from Liz Mathews. The last time that I talked to you guys on my last floss tube, I was telling you that I had done the math on this because I am stitching this entire 12 Days of Christmas series on one piece of fabric, all the samplers with their individual borders. And I did the math that if I work on one and I finish one every 2 months, I will have it done at the end of 2025 with a little bit of wiggle room, a couple months of wiggle room. So I'm stitching mine with the called for NPI silks. I have these on some gold Adam Heart thread hearts. Absolutely stunning. And so technically this will be 12 finishes, but also one finish. And this is what it looked like the last time I talked to you. I was sitting at about 17% finished at about 1,200 stitches. And I have since done 1,800 more. I'm now sitting at 43.5%. And this is what it looks like. So I still have the hoop on it because, you know, I've just been pulling it out every day. This is on a 46 count cream and sugar linen by Fiber on a Whim. It is a ginormous piece because this is going to be 3 of these tall by 4 of these wide. And it comes out to almost exactly square. But I have done this whole pear leaf. I finished the entire border. Did these little leaves, this leaf, started on this leaf here, and a lot of these little 4-stitch motifs. But I love that it fits, the whole sampler fits with working space inside a 9-inch Morgan hoop. These hoops are my favorite hoops. I will only ever stitch with Morgan hoops because I mean, that tension is amazing. And it's 2 pieces. It's so easy to throw in a project bag. I absolutely love it. So I just have, I think 4,000 stitches left on this guy. So I'm really trying to eke out a finish by the end of this month like I was supposed to do to stay on track. So we will see, but I've been loving stitching on it. It's so much fun. The only thing I wish is I could stitch it in hand because there is a good bit of fill-in stitching with the leaves and the pears, but I unfortunately am not skilled enough to stitch 46 count linen in hand. 1/2 with this silks. Love it. I cannot wait to get this done and photographed and actually have progress. But when I had originally started this project back in 2021, I was stitching at 1/1 on 32 count linen, and I have officially surpassed where I was the first time I stitched this piece. So that's exciting. Because I believe I just have like one branch here and then there's the bird, or maybe the bird is here. I don't know. Anyway, first day of Christmas will be a finish soon. Fingers crossed. Y'all wish me speedy needles for the remaining couple weeks of the year to actually eke out that finish. I think if I do 200 stitches on it every day for the rest of the year, I'll have it done. So I keep this project in a, oh, I should probably put the silks back in there. In a Mad for Plaid project bag that I got from the Fat Quarter Shop. This fits all of my silks and all of the charts. I have a good chunk of these charts as paper charts. So, boom. That is that. And that is every project that I have worked on in the last 3 weeks. Like I said, it's a lot of stitching. Having this many finishes in this short of a time, plus all the new starts, plus progress, feels really crazy. Like, I've just been in such a stitchy mood. I'm not complaining at all, but I love it. Okay, so I have 3 purchases. They're all clubs. So my first one was my Bestitch Me fabric of the month for this month. The color is Macchiato, 40 count linen. I'm obsessed with this. This is gorgeous. It's very similar actually in tone to Dirt Track by Fox and Rabbit. Dirt Track's probably a little darker and the modeling is not as tight, but definitely very similar vibes. I cannot wait to use this in something. It is beautiful, great neutral. I'm in the neutrals club, obviously. And then my Color and Cotton 40 count linen, I love 40 count linen, is in the color Sugar Cookie, which is this gorgeous yellow toned cream. Perfect for so many things. I love that. And I dropped down in my thread club because I'm gonna be doing low to no starts next year. I'm still gonna like keep my fabric clubs. I think I'm gonna swap my Bestitch Me fabric to a 36 count and then keep my Color and Cotton at the 40 and continue building my stash because I do love to pull fabrics from stash now. I rarely have to buy fabric specifically for a piece unless I have like a very specific vision or need a colorful fabric. So I dropped down my threads. Instead of getting 6, I'm now getting 3, and I'm just doing the all colors club. So this was the colors for December. The colors were Enchanted, Fairy Tale, and Princess. I love these. I think they're so pretty together. The tone of this pink especially, this like rosy color, beautiful. Love these. They're actually really pretty swatched on the Sugar Cookie fabric. I actually really love that combination. That's it for purchases. And I'm gonna be doing a low buy next year as well since I won't be starting as many things. So I am really excited just to build up my stash there and kind of, hopefully those will be my only purchases, unless I might get a couple charts at market, we'll see. And that, it brings me to the end of the cross stitch talk with just a couple plans. So like I said, I am going to be cranking out my model stitch and my first day of Christmas sampler. I might intersperse a few days of working on Woodland Wonder just to see if I can get some more beading done, get a little bit closer to that finish. But that is pretty much it for the rest of my Christmassy plans. So I'd love for you guys to tell me what you're working on this Christmas, if you have any goals that you're trying to hit, if you've planned any new starts for the rest of the month. I know my friend Marjorie has been starting a lot of things and it has been so much fun to see her progress on her Christmassy whips and kind of live vicariously through her with those. But I am thinking through next year. So like I said, I still have to squeeze in one more start to hit my 50 starts for the year because we love a good round number. And speaking of round numbers, if I hit those 2 starts, or if I hit that 1 start and hit 50, and I finish my model stitch and the first day of Christmas, I will have hit an even 20 finishes. So definitely trying to hit those round numbers. But I'm thinking for that final stitch start of the year, I figured might as well make it kind of fun. And my idea is to make it my New Year's Eve 12 by 12 start. So the New Year's Eve 12 by 12 was started by Kia B Quilting and Pam of Just Keep Stitching, I believe. So essentially on New Year's Eve, 12 hours before the new year, you start working on projects and you work on either an existing whip or a new start. Every hour you switch projects. And at the end of the day, you finish with your new year, new start. And it's kind of a fun way to get a cross stitch marathon in and touch a lot of projects. Last year I participated for the first time and I loved it. I worked on 12 existing whips, or 11 existing whips, and then I started my new year, new start at midnight. and it was so much fun. It was a lot of work, and I built in like a 1 hour break for myself, but I definitely caught myself because I only had 1 hour to work on the projects, not taking breaks, not stretching, not eating or drinking, because I was so focused on trying to get the most amount of progress in that hour that I was working on the project. There are also people who do like half new starts, half whips, people who do all whips, people who do all new starts. And my friend Elizabeth last year actually did a monogamous 12 by 12 where she worked on one project, her full coverage all day, and documented her progress throughout the day. And I loved that idea. And I think I am actually going to do that with my new start. So my last start of the year will be on the last day of the year. I will start it when the 12 by 12 starts and update my progress every hour. And we'll see how far I can get on one project in those 12 hours. I have not picked that project yet. I'm trying to pick like a more medium-sized sampler, something that I've had kitted for a while that I've wanted to start, and that's under 12,000 stitches-ish. So contenders right now, and you can vote and let me know what you would like me to work on, are Margaret Hull 1872 by Quaint Rose Needle Arts. I bought this chart at Market back in September, and I've loved it. I have it kitted and ready to go. I love that funky bird, and I really want him started. So that's contender number 1. Contender number 2 is the Things Unseen sampler by Lizzie Kate. I've also had this kitted forever. Alexis of Alexis_My_Amazing_World and Sarah of Stitchy Friends have both worked on this that I've seen, and I love it. I think it would be a fun progress piece because of all the wording. I think I could like move a lot on it. And it is that mid-size range. So those are the 2 projects that I'm leaning towards right now. Another contender would be Blackberry House by Plum Street Samplers. So those are kind of the 3. I don't fully have Blackberry House kitted yet though. So that is the grain of salt with that chart. I'd have to get the materials together, but I have a month. I don't think that would be the hardest thing in the world. So that's my plan. Let me know, do you guys think that's interesting, or is it really boring just to see the same chart all day? I'm kind of intrigued to see how much I can get done in one day of dedicated progress like that. And I think that's how I'm gonna do my New Year's Eve 12 by 12, but you can let me know, are you doing team whips, team new starts, team half and half, team monogamous, all of those kinds of things, let me know. And that will kick off my year of low to no starts with a new start. So that's the goal. And then throughout the year, I'm thinking kind of a 2 out for 1 in situation, maybe 3 out if they're smalls. So that I'm still getting progress or new starts, but I'm earning them because I've been cross-stitching for 2 years now. I've been floss tubing for 1, and I've never found a whip rotation system that works for me. And I always end up abandoning whips for new starts. So I'd like to have a year of dedicated progress and see how far I can get and kind of set up a sustainable stitching method for me, because I love starting things, and for 2 years I've been stitching almost every day and I've gotten dedicated progress. But this is definitely the longest that I've stuck with one craft, if that makes sense. And I don't want to have to abandon large samplers down the road. So anyway, we are going to try and get my whip count down next year and get to a more manageable level of progress and a more sustainable system of stitching. And it's going to be difficult, and we're going to do it. And a lot of friends of mine are also slowing down the new starts. There's something about when you start Flosstube, you start everything because you're trying to get in the community and talk to people and start sales, and you can't resist saying no. And it's very difficult. And so you get like the snowball effect. And then I think a lot of the people who started Flosstubes around the same time as me, we're all getting to the point where we're like, okay, maybe let's take a step back for a while and we'll speed up the new starts again once we've gotten all of these big starts we've done under control. Or at least that's the vibes that I've gotten from the people I've talked to who have been doing the Flosstube thing for about a year now. And yeah, I guess it's more like a year and a half for me, but anyway, let me know what you guys' plans are for the new year. I'm also thinking about starting WhipGo and actually giving it a real chance. The last time I tried to start WhipGo, I'd only been cross-stitching for like 6 months, and I wasn't super equipped to know my stitching routine or my stitching style. And so I am down to give Whip Go another chance. I'll be doing my friend Marjorie's Pick-a-Whips. So there's lots of fun challenges to do with existing projects and to try and get progress and get finishes and earn my new starts. And yeah, that was a lot on plans. I know some of you are really ready for books. If you're not here for the book chat, I will see you next time. Go ahead and leave me a snowflake emoji. And I hope that you have a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and I will talk to you guys in my next video, which will probably be a whip parade. It's whip parade season, the best time of the year, and I need a bit more time to get my notes together and to iron my projects because I am an ironer. You don't have to be one, I just am for photo reasons. And yeah, so I am planning my whip parade. I will get that together and hopefully get that to you guys maybe 2 weeks. I'll probably film it next week. We'll see. I'm gonna give it my all. It's a lot of work doing a whip parade. If you've never made a floss tube before, it's a lot of work, especially when you have 35 active whips, 43 whips. I have 43 whips, I think. We'll see. But anyways, that is it for the cross stitch. But if you're interested in talking books, I've got a couple to share. It'll be really fast. And so leave me a comment with a snowflake emoji if you're out at this point and you made it to this point in the video. I'm so grateful for all of you. I love you. Thank you for being the best Christmas present for me, to know that I have this community and this place to talk about things. And I love you guys so much. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Bye. If you were sticking around for the book chat, I read 2 books. It is pathetic. It is sad. I know. I am so behind on my reading goal. We're not going to talk about it. I am working on it. But I have 2 books that I finished in the last 3 weeks to share with you. Unfortunately, I started rewatching The Vampire Diaries, and it has kind of taken over all of my reading time. So anyways, I read Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. Very appropriate for the sweater that I'm wearing. This is a very much an October feeling romance. It is a dark romance that is between 2 serial killers. So definitely check trigger warnings and content warnings. It is spicy, it is dark, it is a little twisted, but it is very fun and a little bit of like a giddy kicking your feet time. So I definitely recommend it, but I don't think the audience is everyone for this. It is on Kindle Unlimited if you're interested or you have that subscription. I loved it. My friend Marjorie also read it. She also loved it. But again, definitely take this one with a grain of salt. This is not a blanket recommendation. And the second book that I read actually would be a blanket recommendation for me. This is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the 3rd and final book in her Bright Falls trilogy, which starts off with Delilah Green Doesn't Care. And I have been reading the Delilah Green series with my friends from college book club since summer of 2022, and we've been reading the new one every time a new one comes out. So we finished out this one and ended a series in our book club, which was so much fun. These are queer romances. They are sapphic and they are so much fun. I did not have a lot of high expectations for this book because I liked Delilah Green and I loved Astrid Parker. And Astrid, I tend to empathize a lot with Astrid. I share a lot of her personality traits. And so I didn't think for me that any book in the series would top Astrid, and especially Iris, because I probably related to her the least out of all of the characters in this series. But oh my gosh, was I wrong? It probably, for me, my rankings of the series go Astrid Parker, Iris Kelly, Delilah Green, which it's just so weird for the first book in a series to be the one that you don't love the most. That to me has only ever happened with Sarah J. Maas books because she does so much world building, but that by the time you reach the last book, the first book seems puny. But never in a contemporary romance series, especially like an interlinked series where you're following the members of a friend group or a family. Like they tend to just kind of decline in quality a little bit. Not these books. And I loved it so much. It is definitely the spiciest of the 3. But Iris Kelly is she has watched all of her friends find love and find their happily ever afters, for lack of a better term. And she still feels like a mess. Like she doesn't have her life together, like her family doesn't respect her career, and she's trying to write a novel, and she ends up joining this play, and leading the play is a failed one-night stand of hers, and so they end up reconnecting and having to pose as fake girlfriends, and it's so good. I highly, highly, highly recommend this series if you are looking for a good, just fun, lighthearted contemporary romance. This was definitely the book I needed to get out of my slump. I know I haven't read any since I finished this, but it is a slump buster type of book. So if you're interested in something contemporary romance-wise, I highly recommend this one and this whole series. I will definitely be reading more of Ashley Herring Blake's books in the future. So that is officially everything I have to share with you guys today. I feel like I've been talking for 20 years, but there was a lot of stitching to share. So that being said, now is the official end of the video. And please go ahead and leave me comments. Let me know what you guys are doing for Christmas, what you're stitching on, what you're reading, all of those kinds of things, or just say hi. I would love to hear from you guys. I hope that you have an amazing holiday season, and I will catch you guys in my whip parade, and then probably the next regular Flosstube update will be in the new year. So definitely go follow me on Instagram if you're looking for more updates in the meantime, to follow the 12 by 12 action. Since I only have one project, I probably won't film a video about my plans for that, but yeah. I am going to go drink a lot of water and edit this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!